Well, that's a wrap. We've finished yet another OpenStack Operators mid-cycle meetup, and this is really, I think, the current best of the at least operations-focused conferences that the OpenStack community puts together. This one really is community-driven, end-user-driven, but we're here in beautiful Milan, Milan, Italy, and really had a number of really good sessions talking about all of the different technology pieces that folks are looking at that are either creating issues with their operations or are tools that they're trying to figure out how to make more efficient for operations. Um, I led a number of sessions focused on the containerization of OpenStack as a service. So looking at deploying and running the OpenStack resources within either a Docker or LXC compute container, and then potentially even managing at least the Docker variant uh, with something like a Kubernetes environment. We had lots of good feedback. There are actually a number of folks that are doing this in production or in their production environments already. And some were trying to understand how one would migrate into such a system because most of these guys are already operating OpenStack systems. So they're not looking at a new deployment, they're looking at taking their old deployment and making that more useful for folks. So a lot of good discussion around that. There were also interesting discussions around logging and monitoring. One of the big problems that I've always seen in OpenStack environments is trying to use the logging information for debug without having to have the debug level logging all the way running all the time. It's a bit of a challenge, and there is at least growing efforts to make the level of logging, the log messages, the services around logging much more efficient. So that was another real positive. One of the issues that I would say this particular conference has had in the past is an inability to really have a direct change or a direct effect on the development team because the development teams have so much that they're doing that often our voice doesn't get heard as clearly as we might like for it to. And our voice, I'm talking about folks that are actually operating OpenStack environments. But I think that shift has happened. In this particular case, I really felt like the community has a model for interacting and engaging with the development resources, and we really got a lot of feedback. The folks from the development community, those that are actually building OpenStack rather than building OpenStack systems for production use case, the folks that were here from that space really had a lot to contribute as well. And it's clear to me that the feedback is really being taken into stride by the development community versus the operators community at this point. So overall, lots of great sessions. There's a ton of information within the Etherpads, and I think we're getting a better rigor in terms of marking things that we really want the developers to find out about or see within the conversations that are ongoing. And so that information I think is now also getting through to folks. Anyway, that's really what I wanted to say. Milan is a beautiful city. I'm hoping to actually get to see a little bit more of it over the next couple of days. And the operators are, I think, on track for continuing to improve the value of OpenStack and OpenStack systems, and I'm really looking forward to the next sort of sessions of this nature. And yes, isn't that a great wallpaper in this beautiful old hotel in Milan?